Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 31. We're here live on Twitter Space, recording with our favorite fans this week. I'm joined by my co-host, as usual, Will. How you doing today, Will?
Not so fantastic.
All right. We're going to leave it like that then.
Yep.
Heather, how are you today?
I'm doing a little bit better than I have been. Got a headache, but I'll be all right.
You feeling much better than weeks prior?
Today I got it with a really bad headache, but at least the body pain isn't bad, so I'm pushing through it.
Good. Mm-hmm. As far as wrestling this week, how do you feel the programming has been for both WWE and AEW?
It was okay. It was not like spectacular, but it was pretty good. I had to, of course, go back and watch everything, but I thought it was pretty good. Except for some of the squash matches that I saw, I thought were really dumb. Because I'm tired of them. I don't even see the point in them. Like, some of the other matches could have went longer than they did, but it was okay. But besides the squash matches and just some other ones, I just really didn't see the point of.
And it's almost kind of like we're trying to create some fillers in between now and the Crown Jewel Premium Live event. That's how I kind of felt WWE was this week. Yeah. And kind of for AEW, we're still kind of building up toward Full Gear. And that's was a little bit interesting what we saw at the tail end of Dynamite, and we'll get into that a little more as we cover the AEW segment. How did you feel as far as the programming, Willem?
It was a solid week. I don't think it really had any kind of importance to me.
So we're pretty much all on the same page. It was just kind of more of we got through the week, but nothing spectacular.
Yep.
All right. And with that being said, let's go ahead and we'll get right into the WWE program for the week. I can really talk today, as everybody can tell. Let's go ahead and cover the Monday Night Raw results. Finn Balor gets a victory over Carl Anderson. R-Truth weasels his way into the match somehow with the Miz and gets the victory. Then we have Austin Theory, who gets a tainted victory over Mustafa Ali thanks to Seth Rollins. Elias making his comeback after over a year. He gets the victory over Chad Gable. Baron Corbin gets the victory over Johnny Gargano. And in the main event for Monday Night Raw, Bayley gets, I guess you can kind of say, a victory over Bianca Belair. That one kind of ended weird. We'll talk a little more later on that. NXT 3.0 is what they call it now, I guess. We have the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship, which had quite a bit of controversy, but it was done right, though, as far as storyline-wise. And the champions, Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, retained those championships against Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark. Shotzi gets the victory over Lash Legend. I felt that match really should have happened more at Halloween Havoc. For the NXT Tag Team Championships, Pretty Deadly retains over Idris Enofe and Malik Blade. Indy Hartwell, which hasn't been faring too well in weeks past, gets a victory over Sol Ruka. And the main event, which was kind of a little creepy, I guess, in a way, JD McDonough gets the victory over, say it, Will?
Ilya Dragunov.
Thank you. He pronounces the name better than I do. And we're going to go right into the SmackDown results. The Brawling Brutes gets, I guess you can say, an upset victory over Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa. The New Day, I guess you call it a match, gets a victory over Maximum Male Models. For the SmackDown Women's Championship Open Challenge, Ronda Rousey retains her championship over the returning Emma. Yes, you heard that right. Emma has returned to WWE. Hit Row and their surprise partner Shinsuke Nakamura gets the victory over Legado del Fantasma. And the main event, we see Karrion Kross defeating Madcap Moss. Yeah. Why don't we start with Heather? What was your general feeling with Monday Night Raw?
You left out a match for one thing. I almost 4-on-1, the squash match.
I don't call that a match. I'm sorry. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about Omos and the Four Jobbers, but
yeah.
can we really say
you gotta call that a match? Because and remember, I got unfollowed for saying I didn't like Omos.
You know what?
Yeah.
Screw them. you know. Okay. What's the rule I have is number 1 in the space rules. Everybody has an opinion. You know, just respect it. Anyhow, no. I really have a hard time calling Omos matches as a match anymore, and I didn't leave that out on purpose. That I actually did miss that. I don't know how. Seems like I've been doing that the last few weeks, and maybe it's just I have CRS all of a sudden. But no, what was your overall thoughts for Raw?
I really liked it. I liked when where is it? The Miz, wasn't that on or is that on SmackDown? Let's see. When the Miz got distracted by Gargano dressed in the looking like Dexter Lumis, and then he ended up losing. I liked that part. And Bailey and Bianca.
That was actually on Raw.
Oh, okay. And then Bailey and Bianca's match was pretty good, except for of course, she lost by being distracted. Bianca lost by being distracted. And Austin Theory and Mustafa Ali, that was a pretty good match, except for when Seth Rollins got involved. And the whole Judgment Day segment was stupid, where Dom was comparing himself to Eddie Guerrero. But I liked when AJ Styles said he was more like James Ellsworth. I thought that was nice. And it was okay. Raw was pretty good, and the Brawling Brutes getting the win over Solo and Sammy. I liked that. And I loved what happened afterwards when Roman and came out there. And I tweeted, I said, "Oh no!" I said, "Roman Daddy is at home, and everybody's in trouble now." That was on SmackDown,
So not to interrupt you, but is your inner Usi in check today?
I'm not feeling Usi today. But no, it was pretty good, and I liked that for NXT. I liked when it's Malik Blade and Edris and Anafi. That's their names.
Yes.
Okay, I liked their match. I thought that was a really good match. And how about Ava Raine coming like that?
Yeah,
I enjoyed her showing up, but who she's paired with? No, those guys are creepy. I'm sorry, I don't like that pairing right there.
Well, and the weird part is, I don't think anyone expected it to be a female talent either.
Yeah,
I think that's what threw everybody in surprise when she revealed herself.
Yeah. Because, she'd been walking around giving up those buttons and stuff, and everybody's like, who is this? Who is this? And then it's Ava Raine. Like, wow, And then I didn't like the ending to the women's tag championship because, which it had to be done that way because, the ref missed the tag. Because everybody's like, oh, we got new champions. But no, the ref's like, no, he saw the tag and nobody else did. And so then we have the same champions. So, yeah, it had to end that way. So, well, that's what I thought.
well, the thing that kind of bothers me about that whole situation is for years, WWE has gone where saying, the referee's decision is final.
Yeah.
That usually even meant whether that include any other referees trying to come down and tell the referee what had happened. But this seems like maybe we're kind of getting out of that way now and trying to learn to make things right, especially after with the chaos with the whole Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey, also with the AJ Styles and Samoa Joe a while back. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to also, oh yeah, of course, how can you forget The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar? You know, when you had those three situations in the last, I want to say 5 years, maybe 5 year span. Maybe now,
Yeah.
maybe now they're realizing, oh yeah, maybe we should try going back to where we have a senior official come and let the current official know, hey, this is what happens. You need to reverse that.
Yeah, because I was shocked. I was like, oh no, like, wow, we got new champions. And then all of a sudden they're talking about, no, there was a tag. And then they replayed it and you saw the tag. And I was like, wow. And so they restarted the match. And then, of course, the champs retained. So,
And now we know for sure we're going to end up seeing a rematch between the two teams. So it's going to be interesting to see which direction NXT Creative takes this. Are we going to see new champions? I don't think so. I don't think it would be the right move. But hopefully make for a much better match in some ways where it doesn't, like, get the fans' hopes divided, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I just really don't see, they're good together, like Zoe Starks and Nikita Lyons, they're good together. But to me, they don't really feel like a really meshed tag team, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't know, it's just they're good together, but it just doesn't feel like a really meshed tag team to me. I mean, I could be wrong, but to me, it just doesn't feel that way, like they're a really put together tag team. Like, I don't know, it's just something doesn't, like, kick it for me. But, that's just the way I feel.
Well, when you watched the ladies performed as a tag team, you saw how well, as a team, Carter and Chance worked compared to Zoe and Lyons. So, I mean, there's a big difference, especially when Carter and Chance have been teaming with each other for the last 3 years. Zoe Stark and Nikita Lyons was just put together out of the blue. And that kind of inexperience shows big time.
Yeah.
They're definitely not tag team. Well, I should say they're not really ready for tag team competition. They really just need to keep them as the singles. Because I always felt that maybe the lady to take the championship away from Mandy Rose should be Nikita Lyons. After seeing her in that tag match, though, I would like to see her develop just a little bit more. So now my idea of having Nikita take the championship off Rose may have kind of deflected a little bit.
Yeah. I like Alba Fire. I really like her. I was thinking maybe she was going to take the belt off of Mandy Rose. I really like her. Her whole thing that she's got going on, and like with the fire and all that. I don't know. I just really thought maybe she was going to, but then again, maybe that just wasn't the right thing to do at the time.
Well, and who knows? We may be seeing Alba Fire hit main roster too. That could be the plan. We just don't know, because we've seen how fast things can change from sending the development talent up to the main roster right away, and within a moment's notice too.
Yeah. And I like the whole Emma thing when she came back. I was shocked about that. I knew I had seen that they said she was backstage, but I didn't think her coming out and being excuse me, it should be an open challenge for Ronda. I just didn't see that with her coming back and then immediately going out there and getting that opportunity. I knew I'd heard she was backstage, but I didn't think she would get that type of challenge, type of match her first time coming back.
Yeah. And Will, we've been kind of silencing you, I guess. What was your thoughts overall?
I put it at 60-40 as far as a successful week, honestly. You know how I feel about low blow victories, so the Anderson versus Bauer match. Just, yeah. And then The Miz versus R-Truth. I mean, come on, that was lame. The Theory versus Mustafa, that was a great match. It was really, really sound. I'm gonna be with you on Omos. Just no. Elias coming back, facing Gable, really great. Still with the whole Gable losing all the time. Really not sure about that. Baron Corbin. I'm loving where they're going with him. I was just a little surprised that they had him over on Gargano.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Bayley versus Bianca match was absolutely wonderful. As far as NXT, I don't know how I feel about the women's tag match either. It did go the way it should have gone, as far as the final decision. Shotzi versus Lash, I really didn't actually get to see much of this. I was a little bit busy at home.
It's all good.
The Malik and Inoue versus Pretty Deadly. That was an impressive match to me. I think they're just gaining more and more as they continue to go. My biggest surprise of this week was how they had Indy defeat Sol Ruka. Like, she goes from being on that losing streak to being a decimation.
Well, yeah, I find it weird that you would bring in somebody fairly new
As a debut.
She gets the victory.
Yeah, it threw me off.
Yeah, and then you have her lose right away.
Don't get me wrong, I love Indy Hartwell, but that just really didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it's almost like you're trying to push Sol, but now you put her back.
Right. Ilya versus McDonough, yeah, definitely solid creepy, but it's going to be anytime you have McDonough. SmackDown, I loved the roll-up win for the Brutes over the Bloodline.
Yes.
Especially what it led into. I mean, normally you know how I am with those kind of segments. But, I mean, come on. He got almost everybody into Ring to Break character. Almost everybody. I think Paul Heyman and Solo might have been the only ones who managed to keep a straight face.
Well, Paul Heyman's had plenty of practice. Solo Sikoa, we didn't see anything because the camera never really panned on him.
And Jimmy turned around and he had his face covered. So,
yeah. Well, Jay tried to tell Roman, forcefully turned him and said, no.
I'm with you on the Maximum Male Models versus New Day match. Not a match. And please, for the love of God, do something else with the guys from Maximum Male Models. Rousey versus Emma. This actually ended up being my second favorite match for WWE for the week. I don't know how many people remember Emma, but she has definitely improved during the time that she's been away. Legado del Fantasma versus Hit Row and Shinsuke. That was actually a really, really good match. I wasn't expecting it to be that good. Carrion versus Madcap. This was my actual absolute favorite match of the week for both programs. I think that Madcap definitely brought it, and Carrion's always just been that very brutal physical specimen.
Well, and you got to see a little bit of how much Madcap Moss can shine at the main event part.
Oh, yeah.
Especially main roster, you know.
Yeah, he can definitely go. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was actually... I think SmackDown was pretty well done as far as match layout. Monday Night Raw, we saw Nikki Cross come back at the tail end attacking all the women, not just the face, but the heels.
Uh-huh.
So, who knows? We might be seeing...
She did the same thing on the Saturday night event.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Well, I read it.
Oh, you're talking Saturday night main event they had in Mexico?
Yep.
Oh, I read the results briefly, but not in full detail, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think having her go back to her sanity style character was a good move. I'm not quite sure on the wardrobe though.
No.
But I mean, you want her to be a psychopath. Don't. I guess it got good reaction from all the single guys. They thought Nikki was looking pretty hot based off the tweets and Facebook.
I really don't think they've ever done her justice with the wardrobe.
No, I'm not going to crap on the almost superhero gimmick because that was actually her direct creative. So, she tried it, and I just don't think it gelled well with the fans for sure. I get where she was trying to go with it. I think timing was just wrong with it for right now. As far as the Finn Balor, Carl Anderson, I agree. I don't really like those low blow finishes. However, it was kind of funny later in the later segments. they have
He pulled off the perfect face on it. I'm sorry.
Luke Gallows. They send Luke Gallows, who thinks he's a lady charmer, go try to talk to Rhea, and he gets the nut shot too. So there you go, Carlos. Another ball shot just for you here on the Wrestling Fans Insight. The R-Truth kind of made me laugh because, he only came out because Truth just kept getting said.
Yeah, I know. I'm torn about the R-Truth thing because they're not putting him in more serious situations.
Well, you gotta look at the part where he is in age too, as far as talent and all that. Mm-hmm. I don't think we're gonna see him in any more serious or even like a world title run spot for his career anymore. I think he's just gonna be there to help be an ambassador and coach the newer talent as they mature with the company. The Elias, watching him come back, I'm all for it, but I think they should have done a little more with him. Like even as far as swinging a guitar at one of them guys, you could tell he was about to do it at Riddle backstage until Alpha Academy came and interrupted him. Not sure on the Baron Corbin JBL thing. It's yeah.
It would have been better had they not done an exact repeat.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still a little nay-ish on that, but who knows? Maybe in weeks go by, we'll see it get much better for Baron. NXT, I thought both the tag team championship matches were great. Again, I don't really care for how the women's part went. I would have just rather seen a non-controversy, I guess, because we're seeing a lot of controversy finishes here, and you don't want to overdo it. It's kind of like having a gimmick pay-per-view every month, I'd rather just have a gimmick match that in one of the main premium live events or pay-per-views rather than seeing it all the time. I thought it was the right move to have Pretty Deadly retain the tag team championships. I'm just not sure they're the team that should be having it right now. I think the Creed brothers really should still have those championships. As far as SmackDown goes, I love the way Brawling Brutes get their victory over Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa, and then Roman, like Heather mentioned before. I love that whole segment where Sami was getting everybody out of character. The New Day, Maximum Male Models, yeah, that just drove me nuts. I mean, just do away with the gimmick. It's not working. Fans aren't buying into it.
Yeah, right now about the only thing people are really watching with them is Maxine.
Right. And I think they should have just left her in NXT and somehow took control as Von Wagner's manager.
Yep.
I think Robert Stone really should be the one up in the main roster view, beating a manager there. As far as Karrion Kross and Madcap Moss, like you said before, I thought it was a great match. Karrion Kross and attacking Madcap after the match. That was a pretty good way to promote his steel cage match coming up with Drew McIntyre. It's almost kind of like the heel's kind of gaining some truth in what he's saying, especially after the whole car accident deal and blah, blah, blah. One thing I want to kind of go back on in Raw, I know I'm kind of going all over the place with this. I actually loved Austin Theory's match with Mustafa Ali. I thought Mustafa definitely showed he's got what it takes. But do any of you feel like he's championship material yet?
I would say maybe on a cruiserweight type level, but
we don't even have a cruiserweight championship anymore.
I know. Like maybe even the Intercontinental. Yeah, I could see that, but
yeah, I just don't see him defeating Gunther at the moment.
No.
Is the problem.
No.
Heather, what do you think?
Maybe he should go to NXT and get that title. Like he showed up like he was going to cash in. He can go to NXT and get that title. But no, he definitely is not going to get. I don't think he deserves to get the Universal Championship. And I don't see him beating Gunther for he's got the Intercontinental Championship. And Seth Rollins, no, I don't see that either.
Will does bring up an interesting kind of brought up an interesting idea now that I'm thinking about it. Do we think the Cruiserweight Championship could be a thing here on the main roster? Because I just don't think we have enough exposure for NXT to really have that title around.
I think it would be a good idea to bring it back.
I guess what bothered me with the Cruiserweight Championship being on NXT is for the longest of time, it wasn't a very exposed product. It was mostly just exclusive to the WWE network. But now that you had NXT on USA and Sci-Fi for a while, it probably wouldn't be quite as bad. But I feel the main roster has more of the smaller guys, the 205s and unders, than NXT does anymore.
Right, and I would actually rather see the Intercontinental Champ be back on the main and do away with that freaking 24/7 title.
Well, and yeah, we haven't really seen much of the 24/7 Championship lately on TV, which is great.
It keeps changing hands over other events.
Yeah, that was one that actually happened at Mexico last night.
Yep.
It went the usual, Dana drops it to Tamina drops it to, I can't remember who, and then Dana Brooke ends up getting it back in the end, so I really would wish that title would go away.
I hate that. I hate the whole 24/7. The only time I liked it was when R-Truth had it, and he made it fun. But the rest of the time, I think it's trash. It just really needs to go away. It's like, it's not even worth having it around.
And on top of that, I don't know how I'd feel as a woman about the fact that they've basically just tossed it over into a sideshow for the women's department. That's messed up.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to go that route, we might as well just brought back the Hardcore Championship.
Yep.
Only I would feel that the Hardcore Championship should be defended in the arena and not just everywhere, anywhere, not these little video recorded segments, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. I would rather see it defended in the arena or like somewhere in the arena,
Yeah. I used to always tweet about it every time it came up. I was like, this is so dumb. Like, why are they even doing this? Like, what is the purpose of this belt? Like, it doesn't even make any sense. It's just what I mean. I hate it. It's just dumb. I mean, it was fun at first, and then just got stupid after that.
Right. It's run its course, and I think now is the time to find a way to fade it into the sunset, if you know what I mean, or in the Smoking Skull version, throw it into the sea and let it sink. And we are back. Let's get right into the AEW for Dynamite. The first match, we see a tag team Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta get the victory over Jericho Appreciation Society members Chris Jericho and Daniel Garcia. In match number 2, Swerve in Our Glory defeats FTR in the number 1 Contenders Championship for the AEW Tag Team Championships. Bryan Danielson gets the victory over Sammy Guevara. Looks like it was not a good night for Jericho Appreciation Society. Then we see Jamie Hayter get the victory over Riho. And in the AEW Championship match, Heather's boy toy and favorite Jon Moxley gets the victory over Penta El Cerro Miedo. And going into Rampage, how about that? He finishes and then he starts again. Jon Moxley gets the victory over Matt Menard. Match number 2, Keith Lee gets I guess you call that a match. Gets a victory over Serpentico. In match number 3, Ty Mello gets the victory over Madison Rayne. And for the TNT Championship, Wardlow retains over Matt Taven. Since we started with Heather, you gonna be okay there? All right, let's go ahead and start off with Will on his thoughts with AEW for the week.
For the most part, I actually really enjoyed AEW this week. Once again, I don't think it held a whole lot of importance or traction to me. It's just, like you said, I almost felt like filler week. I was a little bit surprised that Claudio and Yuta got the victory. In fact, I was surprised by the clean sweep over the JAS. That was a little bit different. But it was a strong match. And let's see. Swerve Lee defeating FTR. I just want to throw kudos out there to Dax because he caught some big slip-ups and made sure that Swerve was okay. We didn't really say anything about MJF getting on the mic again. He's gold.
Oh, yeah.
Absolute gold. Sammy versus Bryan Danielson. I thought that was a superb match. I have my own feelings about Sammy. So,
are these good or bad feelings?
I was glad to see him get his butt whooped. Alright. Hayter versus Rio. I'm loving the fact that Rio's back. Jamie Hayter, I've been a big fan of for quite a while. Penta El Cerro Miedo versus Moxley. I think it was an excellent match. I just thought it was a little predictable.
Like you knew Moxley was going to win regardless?
Well, yeah, there was no question to it.
Right. I mean, I think we're going to see quite the swerve there.
Yeah.
At Full Gear.
And then, to top that off, Moxley comes in against Menard, and I got to give Menard props. He did actually a really, really great, talented match. I loved the tap-out victory by Mox. Keith Lee versus Panico. No. This was just... If they were going to just push the storyline with Swerve taking daddy ass, then they should have just done that. There was no need for that victory. There was no way that was going to work out for Serpentico. Ty Mello versus Madison Rayne. It was an okay match. I wasn't that.
I'm sorry. I just felt like that was sloppy.
I'm going to get to my point about this entire week, really, as far as both brands. The Taven versus Wardlow, I wasn't expecting anything really out of this because I've never seen Taven.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you have to be a fan of Ring of Honor.
Right.
In its old days to watch Taven.
But it wasn't a bad match. But overall, the programming for the week just seemed like there was a lot of slop to it, and it was slow-paced.
Yeah. On Twitter, everybody who's been paying attention to some of the IWC, unfortunately I do. I try my best not to read the negative bullshit out there. And unfortunately, some of the takes, especially, I'm going to hit one that's been pretty sour this week with Booker T saying AEW fans don't care if a talent gets injured or whatnot, which is wrong. I think deep down he should know that's wrong, especially when, 2 years ago he was on the cruise ship, Jericho Cruise. That was an AEW ship.
I think he's starting to lose it at his old age.
Yeah, I don't get where he was going with that.
He seems like he's been drawing further and further towards being one-sided towards a lot of issues.
Well, I'm sure with him being with WWE, that's a big part of it.
Yeah, but
However, the funny thing is, look who's in AEW that was a top student of his, Athena.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I'm not quite sure where the hate from Booker T on AEW has been coming from as of late, but he's definitely not thinking his response is very well to every segment, and it's very frustrating. To me, he should be very partial, especially with a guy who runs his own wrestling promotion.
Yeah. Yeah, you would expect there to be a lot more support.
Exactly. Heather, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I saw you were on mute, that's why I was wondering. But why don't you give us your rundown of what you thought of AEW this week?
Chris Jericho and Daniel Garcia against Wheeler Yuta and Claudio. I liked the match, okay, but it just wasn't. It was a good match, but it really was. It could have been better to me. And then like Swerve Our Glory versus FTR, I was really hoping FTR would win, but they had a good match overall. Let's see, I cannot stand Sammy Guevara. I'm just gonna go ahead and put that out there. I cannot stand him.
I'm starting to sense some things between you and William there.
I just can't stand it. So I'm glad Bryan Danielson got the win. Let's see. Jamie Hayter and Rio, that was a really good match. Rio, I just love her. She's so small, but she does so awesome in the ring, especially because all her opponents are like bigger than her, and she just does so good with the high flying and jumping out of the ring and everything.
Well,
and she's just.
How about that Snapdragon suplex she did with Jamie Hayter, a woman that's twice her size, pretty much?
Yes, I thought that was really good and awesome. I just love her spirit and her fire, how good she is. And of course the Jon Moxley match against Penta. I'm just going to call him Penta. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. But yeah, that was a good match. And let's see, trying to figure out what else. Because like I said, my notes keep running away from me. Yeah, and let's see, Ty Mello and Madison Rain. That was a pretty good match, except for Ty Mello just gets on my nerves too. But that was an okay match. And then of course Wardlow beating Matt Taven, like that was. I don't want to call it a squash match because it did kind of go on a little bit longer, but it was obvious who was going to win. John Moxley and Jay Menard, that was a pretty good match. Because Jay Menard did put up a fight. So I enjoyed that he actually put up a fight. But of course John Moxley won. But yeah, I enjoyed the show. But it just wasn't like fire, like some of the shows have been. But it was a pretty good solid show. But solid shows for AEW.
Yeah, and like Will said before, and I've said it before, I kind of felt like it was just kind of more filler for the week as they're trying to build up for the Full Gear pay-per-view coming up Saturday, November 19th. You're welcome, AEW, for that plug. But anywho, yeah, I thought it was a great night for the Blackpool Combat Club. However, we're still seeing some dissension between Wheeler Yuta and Bryan Danielson, so it'll be interesting to see where that storyline goes as it progresses. The Swerve in Our Glory, the only thing that just really seems weird is we're still seeing Swerve doing his cheating ways to win the matches, and Keith Lee not acting like he never seen it. I'm not sure. I think we're going to eventually see Keith Lee and Swerve split, and they will eventually have a feud with each other. And I think we might see that split up at the Full Gear after their tag team championship match.
Yep. And I am so looking forward to watching, Keith Lee Butterbean Swerve.
Wow. Butterbean reference.
Yep.
Wow. Proud of you for that one. Yeah, I would love to see that too. Be interesting to see how they cast up Billy Gunn's fingers after Swerve took the channel locks to them.
Yeah, that was an interesting part right there.
Well, and see, I think that might have came from, and I don't know if you watched WWE back then when China was around, but there was a segment where Chris Jericho tied China up to a chair, and, of course the room was blacked out, but you could see Jericho had like a hammer based off the shadows and all that, and he actually took the hammer and hit like China's hand with that as it was taped up to the chair, and you could hear China crying for mercy after Jericho hit her, and that's what that scene kind of reminded me of, only the difference was they cut the camera after Swerve took the channel locks to Billy Gunn's fingers, so it'll be interesting to see how well Billy Gunn sells that injury as their match goes. I'm hoping they're not going to have Billy Gunn turn on the Acclaimed.
They're going to make a scissor cast.
I hope not.
A scissor cast? If that happens, well, you don't know. After what they did with the chairs on Dynamite, yeah, who knows what the imagination will come up with. As far as Jamie Hayter, I love the match with Riho. We've already gone into detail as far as what Riho can do in the ring. However, I think Jamie Hayter is finally going to get her just due. I think she wouldn't be bad to even dethrone whether it's Toni Storm or Thunder Rosa for the AEW Women's Championship. I feel she's actually been more ready than Britt Baker, to be fair. As far as the AEW Championship scene, it's going to be interesting because I'm gonna pretty much call it like Eric Bischoff did on 83 Weeks. I kind of hope MJF double fucks us on this. I know the firm attacked MJF, but I think it's a setup. I think it's all a ploy from MJF having them attack him, making it seem like they turned on him. But really, at Full Gear, we're gonna see the firm come back, attack Moxley, and MJF gets a pretty easy victory over John Moxley for that championship.
No.
Tell us how you really feel, Heather. But no, that's where I'm seeing that whole situation go. I think the firm is under the order of MJF doing all this to John Moxley, and we're going to eventually see them pretty much together again, and this is going to be the start of the MJF era, and I think that's going to play more into favor of him extending his contract or renewing a contract with AEW. I don't think it would be a good move for him to go to WWE. However, that's not our choices. It's going to be a matter of what MJF wants to do with himself. I think he's the perfect face for AEW organization for sure. And then as far as the whole TNT championship, I thought it was a good match. Matt Taven's no stranger to the ring. He's a former Ring of Honor world champion, and I believe former Ring of Honor 6-man tag champion with the Kingdom. He's a great talent. He just never had the opportunity to be showcased very well. Ring of Honor obviously hasn't had like a real big TV deal. I mean, of course, they're owned by Sinclair Broadcasting, who does NBC and all of them. Well, I think they have kind of like a well, not sub. I guess you can say like a sister contract to the networks.
That's pretty much why I never really got into it, is because for me there just wasn't that much attention brought to it.
Yeah, I think if Tony Khan plays his cards right, he gets a network going for his entire organization and gets a network that holds the Ring of Honor and AEW libraries together, much like the WWE network does with all the libraries they've purchased with WCW, NWA. Well, not the current NWA, but Jim Crockett's NWA. Also with, I think they now have WCCW.
ECW, blah, blah, blah.
I think they also have USWA. I could be wrong on that, but I believe they do have USWA. I believe they also have Smoky Mountain Wrestling too, which was ran by Jim Cornette, which I find that interesting why he would sell that to WWE with his feelings toward them. But anyhow.
That's enough about Cornette.
Yeah. Double cheeseburger, double cheese, double onion. But did you watch Jim Cornette back in the day at all, Heather?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's probably around the time that I didn't get to watch. So
yeah, you have to go back. That is one guy I would say if you want to learn to do good promos, that's a guy that you could learn from. He came up with some of the best promos in the Jim Crockett promotion days for the Midnight Express. It was just, they made you laugh at all times because the guy was so smart and he could do it on the fly. But anywho, yeah, that's all I have for AEW unless you two have anything else.
No, I don't.
No.
All right, well, why don't we take a short break? We'll come back. We'll get into our top 10s for the week and play some more fun music for all y'all. Be right back. Hey, we're back and we're going to get right into our top 10s for the week. So, we're going to always do the ladies first deal if you're okay with that, Will.
It's fine with me.
All right, Heather, let's go ahead and have you start with your number 10.
I put Bianca Belair.
Awesome. Will?
Matt Menard.
Good choice. I went with the Brawling Brutes just because they got their surprise victory over the Bloodline members, which they've been having a difficult time with the last few weeks. So, all right, Heather, number 9.
Riho.
Will?
Emma.
Yeah, 3 for 3 on the women. I put Handy Hartwell. Number 8.
Jamie Hayter.
Penta El Cerro Miedo.
And I went with Ty Mello. I probably could have put her out of it this week, but I kind of thought she somewhat earned it right in there this week. So, number 7.
Karrion Kross.
Malik and Inoue.
Good one. I went with J.D. McDonough. I think I would have got him a little higher if the match ended a little more in suspense, I guess you can say. It just kind of seemed like they were a little off on securing moves right at the tail end there. Number 6, Heather?
I put Mustafa Ali.
See, we're not the only one bad with names. There you go. No, I'm just kidding. Will?
Jamie Hayter.
That's interesting. I went with Wardlow. Number 5?
I put it's Malik Blade and Idris Anabi. Is that it?
Yep.
Okay.
That's okay. My first co-host can't pronounce their names right either, so you're good. And Will?
Sorry, Heather.
Uh-oh.
Number 5 for me is Austin Theory.
Oh, I see Sergeant Slaughter coming in your future, dude.
Hey, look. If Love him or hate him, he is talented.
My number 5 went to Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. Number 4?
Wesley.
Nice. Mine's Indy Hartwell.
And mine is Jamie Hayter. Number 3?
Brian Danielson.
Karrion Kross.
Oh, dude, really?
Yep.
Oh, my number 3, Karrion Kross. Heather's not going to like my number 2, so we'll start with her anyway.
I put Penta, and y'all know the rest.
Penta El Cerro Miedo. Oh, yeah. Miedo. Kiss my ass.
No.
Number 2.
Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark.
And I went with John Moxley. Will's giving me the eye like, oh, now Sergeant Slaughter's coming after my ass. So, alright, without going any further, who's your number 1, Heather?
John Moxley.
Will?
Claudio Castagnoli.
Yeah, we're good on the Blackpool Combat Club because I put Brian Danielson. I think we're going to see some interesting stuff with him, whether he's going to mend it with Wheeler Yuta or if we're going to actually see that Brian Danielson break apart. Who knows? There's lots of interesting ways we could be watching Full Gear End. I think another one I saw brought up was possibly maybe we watch William Regal cost John Moxley the championship and hand the championship to MJF. Who knows? It'll be for sure an interesting pay-per-view coming up. However, remember we got WWE Crown Jewel next Saturday. It's going to be at a weird time, though.
Yeah, because they're going to be in Riyadh, so...
Yeah, I'm trying to remember...
If I remember right, it starts off at like 11 or something like that.
Let me look it up right now. In fact, that way we can kind of keep everyone tuned in, because while we're looking this up, I do want to let our fans know that we are actually going to be doing some different things at the first of the year. We've decided we're going to start a Patreon account and try to do some other types of content. We're just kind of brainstorming some ideas, what we want to do. I'm still working on getting a team together because it's hard to have people volunteer their team for a project. But if you're listening and would like to join part of our team, like I said, understand it is voluntary because we don't make any money doing this. This is just a passion of ours being wrestling fans. We're always welcome to try check you out background wise and see what you would have to offer for content wise. I'm still trying to look up here. WWE Crown Jewel. So it's showing Saturday, November 5th. And it is not showing me the damn time.
No?
I want to say it's at 12 because I have a baby shower to go to that day, and I was already saying I'm not going to get to watch it until later on. But I want to say 12. I'm not sure, though, exactly.
I know it starts earlier than that for us over here in the Mountain Time.
Yeah.
For those in the United States Pacific Time, the show will air at 9 a.m. So basically 10 a.m. our time, so it would be 12 p.m. Heather's time. So 12 p.m. Eastern time. Wow.
10 a.m. on a Saturday? No.
Yeah, that's... Maybe what we ought to do is should do a Twitter space next Saturday night and just watch the replay or something. Who knows? I don't know. In fact, I don't know if that happens, though. I don't think they do the replay officially till the day after, so...
I think it comes on later that night.
Yeah,
does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can literally set up a watch party.
Yeah, maybe we should look at doing that or something. Who knows? We can do our own commentary for hell's sakes. We can just throw in whatever we want.
No mojitos.
Oh, come on, man. No, I got in trouble with the mojitos on Twitter couple months ago, so yeah, I gotta be careful. Anywho, that completes our top 10 segment. Did you guys have anything else to add for the week?
I have 0.
Okay, Heather, you?
No, I don't have anything.
All right, we're just going to take a small break here and we'll come back to do our own shout outs. And that's going to wrap it up for this week's episode of the Wrestling Fans Insight. I want to give our credits out first. I want to say thank you to Libsyn.com for hosting our podcast on their servers. I also want to thank Pixabay.com for allowing us to donate money and download royalty-free music to use on our show, especially from the artists Light Saturation, GVidden, and Coma Media. And you can also listen to our podcast on all streaming platforms. If there's one we are not on that you do listen to the most, give me a shout, let me know, and I will make sure our podcast gets published to that server. But for the most part, you can listen to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music. We're also on Deezer, Ghana, Rezo, Boomplay, and lately on the new Good Pods app, which has been a very great app on the rise with the independent podcasts like me and a few others. And you can also interact with us on Twitter, since William already kind of left on us. I'll give his alias. His Twitter handle's @William, HOPPE, and then the number 8, William Hoppy 8. You can reach me at John, JOHN, WFINCITE. Also on the podcast account, WF Insight Podcast. Heather, you want to give them your Twitter handle?
It's Bama Girl _4_ Eva.
What, you're not going to complete the Roll Tide Roll bitches?
Yes. Roll Tide Roll bitches.
That's right. That's right. Don't mess with them Southern girls. They'll kick your ass and threaten to throw the big time celebrities at you, you know. Anyhow.
Yeah.
You can also get us on Facebook. You can go through the Facebook groups and find us under the Fans of Pro Wrestling. And our website, thefansofprowrestling.com. Make sure you go to the secure browser, though. If you don't know how to do that, just type in HTTPS. And that will get you on the secure side of our domain there. And for the most part, Heather, do you have any accounts you want to give a shout out to before we end this?
Let's see. How about, we've already talked about the other podcasts. I know we can talk about Wrestling with the Truth podcast, Ted the Hillbilly Hill, the Hill Truth, NWO Machine, Brian Ballard, what is his?
Tap Out Talk. Yep.
Yes. And, of course, my Obey Jess is usually here, but she's not here today. Let's see. And Carlos is usually here every day, but he just popped in. And I guess that's about it.
Oh, you know what? What the heck? We're going to break the rules today. We're going to invite Carlos to speak just because I want to.
Okay.
Carlos, how you doing, boss?
Good. Sorry, I had some family stuff going on, but I just wanted to stop in and say hi and support you guys. I'll have to catch the episode later on today. I'm doing good.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. Figure we get your voice in there. We know you like to come in every week, so.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Hope it was a good episode, guys.
Thank you.
I'll definitely give it a listen later on.
It'll definitely be a shorter one than usual.
I thought we would click on catch. I'm like, oh, they're done already. Okay, cool. All right.
Well, and I think a lot of it we're still kind of competing with the NFL going on. You know, it's going to be slow still the next few weeks. So
It's Halloween weekend too. People are out and about doing things for Halloween.
yeah, so we're not expecting a big audience up until probably after the football season. So we'll see what happens from there. But anywho, you shouted out a lot of the accounts that I was going to shout out, but I also want to throw one there to Austin Boyer, who does the wrestling world, who does very good research on every episode he does. Every once in a while, he has some really great guests that he'll just throw on there out of the blue. He's about to actually do yet another debate with Augusto All Elite, so really looking forward to seeing that one come up here in the next couple weeks. So other than that, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. We've been ranking really well again in good pods. We actually made 2 rankings in charts we haven't made yet, and that's the overall, which is a pretty good one to be in because that means it's all of the podcasts that Good Pods puts out there. We ranked, I believe it was, let me pull them up again because now it's driving me nuts. We ranked number 6 in the top 100 wrestling chart, which is our highest so far. Number 92 in the top 100 overall chart. And number 81 in the top 100 indie overall chart. So we're making some good progress. We appreciate everyone again for tuning in and listening. Without you, we wouldn't achieve those high rankings. And with that being said, Heather, you got anything else?
No, I don't.
All right. Well, for Heather, the Bama Girl Forever, and William, who's already gone, I am John Hoppy, your host, and we'll catch you on Twitter Space again live next Sunday, November, what is it again? Shit. November the 6th. Wow, the days are going by too fast. Yes, we will be live Sunday, November 6th, 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Twitter Space. Have a great week, everybody. Peace out.